Hello, writer friends. Welcome to Let's Write Scripts. I'm Micah Crowdy, a WJ screenwriter and the head of writing at Arc Studio, the best screenwriting app in the world and perhaps on several other worlds. If you're interested in writing your script with Arc Studio like I am, you can check out the link in the description or go to arcstudiopro.com or just Google it. Today on Let's Write Scripts, we're going to be doing 3 timed writing sprints where you can work on your script. And in between those sprints, I'm going to be answering screenwriting questions. We'll be talking about screenwriting. It's going to be a great time. It's always fun. I'm excited to get into it. Yeah, there's always a great energy here on Let's Write Scripts. The sprints aren't prompted. I'm not going to give you a prompt because we're all working on different things. We're all at different points in our project. So it's just kind of like Pomodoro study hall, just a time for us all to kind of come together and sort of individually work on our work together, having the support of each other, having this time set aside for our writing. So if you're here, I hope you're ready to write because that's what we're going to do today. But before we do that, I want to know, where are you? And what are you writing today? I love seeing people from all over the world. I feel like last week in particular, we had a really international audience, which is cool. So many continents represented, which is fun when it's not just countries, it's continents. And so I want to know, where are you and what are you writing today? Are you working on a pilot? Are you working on a feature, a short film, or maybe a short story, an essay, maybe some poetry? We've had some people working on all sorts of creative things. Or maybe you're like working on some schoolwork or a report at work or just some sort of spreadsheet or something, and you just need some creative company. That's cool. You're welcome here as well. But our focus is screenwriting, and that's mostly what I'll be talking about today. So where are you? What are you writing today? And then we also like to start off with a discussion question because, look, the world is a crazy place. Your mind is dealing with a lot of things. And right before we started, you probably weren't thinking about writing. So a little discussion question to kind of help get our brains on the writing track. How important is visual storytelling to screenwriters, specifically screenwriters, not directors, cinematographers, but to the screenwriter who's writing the script? No one else is involved yet. It's just you. You're the screenwriter. How important is visual storytelling? I'd love to get your thoughts on that. And I'll share some thoughts of mine in just a moment. If you're feeling it, please like this video. You can hit subscribe, turn on all notifications, share it with other people, let other folks know about Let's Write Scripts. If you want, we're always looking to add more people to this wonderful community, which I feel so lucky to be able to lead every week. I love hanging out with you guys. And of course, during the second break of the show, I'm going to show the sandwich of the week. Last week, I showed a pie because I had made one for Thanksgiving. Back to our usually scheduled programming, sandwich of the week. And if you're wondering, if you're new and you're like, wait, what is the sandwich of the week? You're gonna have to wait till the second break to find that out. That's what we call a teaser in screenwriting. Loving seeing everybody in the chat, seeing Zoe, seeing Cash from Arkansas. Having finished my first draft last week on my first short of 3, I'm going to work on my second. Ooh, a little trilogy. Cool. Paula and Nova, nice to see everyone. You only get to see me, I guess, but we're seeing everyone else in spirit. Christian in South Carolina doing some polishes. Wiccher in England trying to conceptualize the rom-com I'm writing. Awesome. Ciaran, not too far away in Ireland, from England, not for me, doing a revised draft on a short. It could be filming soon. Awesome. I may squeeze in more brainstorming on the satire pitch. All right, remember you were talking about satire. You were asking about satire last week. That's so cool. Yeah, short films. Look, I've made several short films in my life. The beauty of a short film is you can make it, and you can really make them on any level of budget that you want. The first short I ever made, I think I spent $30 on, and that was because you can find it on YouTube if you want. It was me and 3 of my buddies. 2 of them were actors. One of them was filming it, and I was directing and doing sound. So I was directing it and holding the boom. And I think really I had to buy a salad as a prop. And I think I bought lunch too. So that was the budget. And then I've made some other ones, we spent a few $1,000s on. But that's with short films, you actually get to make it. You can put it in the world. You can do it online. You can submit it to film festivals. And the issue with screenwriting oftentimes is our work kind of gets stuck in a half state, right? You've written the script, but until someone makes it, it's sort of half dead, half alive. And so with short films, it can become fully to life, which is awesome. So that's awesome, Ciaran, that you're doing that. Pam from New Mexico, welcome back. Always happy to be here. Always happy to have you here. Working on your rom-com. Visual storytelling is everything more important than wordiness. Ooh, I love that. JP in Australia. Wait, that's 3 continents, right? We got the US, we got Europe now, and we got Australia. Writing a short film today. I'm focusing on flashing out the timeline of events. Great. Simon Owen and hailing from Toronto. Wait, or is that Simeon Owen? I don't even know. I feel like you're doing some fun thing with your name there. Let me know. Hailing from Toronto, adapting your pilot into the film version. Oh, cool. It's always interesting. I have a pilot that I might be doing something similar with. It was a thing I'd worked on for a while, and I was sending out to some contacts at like production companies and stuff. And I kind of got the note back from multiple people being like, I think this is better as a feature than as a pilot, which is sort of like embarrassing when you've worked on it for so long and you're like, why didn't I see that? And part of the problem is that like, maybe I did see it, but I put so much effort into it as a pilot that I'm like, I just have to finish this and then put it in a drawer for a while. And then I might come back later. But yeah, sometimes stories are better in one form or the other. Cash said, I have heard it said by someone on YouTube, a play should be able to be understood even if you can't see it. Oh, we're talking about visual storying, but a movie should be able to be understood even if you can't hear it. Oh, that's interesting. I love that. You know, I really like that. So a play can be understood just by the dialogue, and a movie should be able to be understood even if you can't hear it. I mean, that's interesting because it kind of goes to like the origin of both crafts. You know, with plays, you just had a kind of a person and they're just talking, and there's minimal sets. It was just kind of like people telling stories. And with features, it came from silent films. There was no dialogue. So like it was a visual medium, and in its roots, it comes from no talking. So that's cool. That's great, Cash. Irvin, just feeling it. I love it. Fantastic. Tessa in Studio City, still working on the same series concept. That's great. Quan, welcome back, man. Super excited about writing today. Oh, I love that. Love that energy, getting pumped. Receive some notes from my script and ready to implement them. I love that enthusiasm, because sometimes when you get notes, for me, I love notes. I think we all need to cherish notes. Like, people are just giving you thoughts to make your thing better. Like, how cool is that? But like the moment you get that, I've talked about this before, it's, sometimes it can be rough, like emotionally. I always have this thing where it's like, I get notes and then I like kind of step away and let my emotions pass and then come back and then I get really excited about them. So it seems like you're at the excitement phase. So that's awesome, Colin. So glad. Diamond in LA, working on an outline for a pilot, have all your beats, but have no idea what happens in the second act. Maybe you don't have all your beats yet. Then there's the second act's important, but you're going to figure it out. I love it. Amy in Portland after a month on California's Central Coast. Oh, we're on the Central Coast. I love the Central Coast. That is such a beautiful part of the world. Fun fact about the Central Coast, with my now wife, when we were dating, we went on our first road trip together along the California's coast, along PCH or Highway 1. And we stopped at this hotel, and we had this banter in our relationship about who was faster, like sprinting, like running. And she was like, "Oh, I'm faster." In my head, I'm like, "This is silly. I'm faster than you." But we were talking about like we were going to race, and so we had got to I can't remember this. I'm like no crap. It's right outside of San Luis Obispo. I'm going to come back to this. Anyways, on the coast right there, hotel. And like we walked down to the beach, and it was just like this wide open beach. And we're like, let's run, let's sprint here. Let's like race. And so we like marked out this race, like, I don't know, it was like 30 yards or something. And mind you, been like driving for a few hours, hadn't stretched or anything. And we started racing, and I am kicking her butt. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm much faster than her. I was way ahead. But, and this is like the Greek tragedy, this is the hubris of it all. That wasn't enough for me, because it had been like, my pride was such that she thought she was faster than me. I'm going to show her how fast I really am. So I started sprinting. The wind was like it felt like I was like breaking the sound barrier. That's how I felt, like a god. Like I felt like the Flash. I felt like, like speed itself. I'd never felt so fast in my life. And I was just, pumping my legs and my arms as fast as I could. And then 3 strides from the finish line, I hear pop, pop. And that was my hamstring. So I pulled my hamstring, finished still, beat her, won the battle, but lost the war, because that was the first day of our trip and I pulled my hamstring. I still won, but it came at a great cost. Second hamstring, I had also pulled the other hamstring once before rock climbing. So I've pulled both of them. And that's what happens when you get older and you don't stretch a lot. So keep that in mind, everybody. Juno in Massachusetts, revisiting a pilot this week after quite a while. As a prose writer, primarily visual storytelling is the main thing I'm trying to learn. So important. It's a growth edge, though. Need tips. See, this is the thing. And like visual storytelling, we were talking a couple weeks ago about the challenge when you're going from your outline to writing your scenes. And I was talking about how it's an underrated, difficult thing. Oh God, that was ineloquent. But it's very difficult, right? And it's kind of surprisingly difficult when you're like, I have my outline, I know what happens, but then you start writing the scenes, and suddenly you're like, why is this so hard? And part of the reason is visual storytelling, is that you're having to translate abstract story ideas into 2 or 3 dimensional space and like position everything. And you're doing like geometry, like storytelling geometry. And so visual storytelling really is everything. It is the main thing. So Juno, you're not in the minority or anything. You're not alone in struggling with this. I'll talk a little bit about it more, but I think that's great. Paula, I like visual storytelling, but your dialogue isn't great. Could maybe be why. Well, honestly, I think visual storytelling is more important than the dialogue. Quan, it's Booster Love Producing. If you're writing a short film and want to discuss it, feel free to chat. Oh, great. That's awesome. Cool offer. Zoe is trying to wrap up third act of a screenplay. Good luck. Sheila back. Oh yeah. Chilly Chicagoland. Right. You guys just had the storm on Thanksgiving. Is it sunny now, or are you guys getting more snow up there, or did that big storm pass? Polishing up some edits to pick up pace and add some conflict. Great. Simon. Okay, great. Exactly. I just got the rights back. Everything should be better. Oh, right. Yeah. Because you were talking about how you were rewriting a pilot as a movie. Yeah. And that's exactly what's happening for me. Just got the rights back. Never just said it would be better in a movie. It got a season arc. Oh, great. Yeah. That's awesome, man. Good luck. Yeah. Good luck on that translation, because it's not a 1-to-1 going. Like, you have the season arc and it's kind of like similar, but it's a different story. It's a different storytelling. It's a different pacing. So it's also a little bit of a challenge. I think it's a fun challenge trying to adapt that into a feature. So good luck with that, man. Paula's received notes about adding conflict. Maybe realize I might be a little boring. Look, this is the thing about screenwriting, is that a lot of the ways we talk about screenwriting is in broad strokes, because we're trying to talk to a lot of people and talk about general principles. And like, conflict is important, but I think it's important to remember that like conflict can be a lot of different things. Conflict is just people wanting things and there being difficulty in achieving that, right? And that can manifest in so many different ways. It doesn't have to be loud. It can be very quiet. It can be very subtle. It can be unspoken in some ways. That is just to say that there are many types of stories. And also we kind of talk in stories often, like when we're talking about story language, about kind of hero's journey, big studio movies, because they're sort of the easiest to understand what's going on, where it's more like experimental or different kinds of cinema. It's just harder to talk about those because they're sort of doing, different things. So that is to say, Paul, your story might need more conflict. I don't know. But try to keep in mind that conflict can mean a lot of different things. It's not just fighting, it's just people who want something and are trying to get it, but there's something there. And oftentimes that can be internal, it can be external. It can be from the world. It can come from so many different sources. Morro Bay. That's a beautiful, cool. Yes, I have driven through Morro Bay. Rosie in Cabo, finishing editing next episode of web series. Fantastic. Denise in Nashville, working today on the last 4 scenes of your revamped script. Awesome. Sheila got more show in Chicago. Chris, waving here. Great to meet you all. Hope to get back to rewriting my short film script. Chris, so glad you're here, man. We're going to get into the writing pretty soon. It's not just going to be me talking the whole time. I'm just feeling excited today. Excited to see you all. But more welcomes for Chris. Kelly from Kansas, working on a rewrite feature. I have 3 very long scenes, so I'll attempt to shorten them. Awesome. Cool. Internal conflict. Yeah. Conflict can be internal. There's so much forms of conflict as we were talking about it. I love it. I'll just say a few things about visual storytelling before we hop into the first writing sprint. I was thinking about this a little bit because, I've been making a lot of shorts recently where I've kind of take a clip from a movie and then use it to sort of explain some sort of screenwriting or show it's an example of something. And there have been a couple things recently that kind of were about visual storytelling. I did one last week or 2 weeks ago about The Incredibles, one of my favorite movies. I mean, I'm a big fan of the classic Pixar. And there's a scene where Mr. Incredible breaks into Syndrome's lair on the island, and he's like in the computer, and basically the computer reveals the secret plan. And this is very common in superhero movies, right? Well, you'll get the monologue, and there is a monologue later actually where Syndrome kind of explains like what he's doing. But in this moment, it's so great because it's like an exposition dump, but without any talking or any exposition. It's visual storytelling. It's pure. It's emotional. And one of the tips that I gave in that video was that like you wrap it in an emotional component, right? That like the visuals have an emotional resonance. So Mr. Incredible is looking at this screen and he's seeing all these superheroes who have died. And this is kind of revealing the plan, but it's really also like him realizing all these people that he's known, his cohort, his comrades have died, and he's kind of the last of a dying breed, and he's like dealing with that. So there's an emotional component of that, and it can be really a beautiful way to convey information. Another one I'm working on a short right now for next week. I'm doing some shorts on Back to the Future, and in Back to the Future, Marty McFly, he goes back into the past, and the premise is he kind of prevents his parents from meeting, which means that he and his siblings are never going to exist. That's kind of the problem. So he has to get his parents back together, kind of before him and his siblings fade, out of existence. But there's a problem with that in the stakes of it, right? Because the stakes are that he and his siblings will fade out of existence. But like his siblings aren't there in the past, so we can't see them disappearing. Like it's sort of an abstract thing that's happening off screen. And if he starts disappearing, then he can't do anything in the world. So it's like this is sort of an abstract idea, these abstract stakes. How do you portray them? And you find some way. And so what they do in the movie, if you remember, is he has a photograph. He has a photograph of him and his siblings. And in the photograph, his siblings are starting to fade away. And then finally, he's going to fade away. And so that picture is an example of visual storytelling in the sense of that's a visual representation of the stakes. An abstract concept is given a physical, visual thing that the audience can see. So it makes it real, or like, oh my gosh, there's peril there as they're fading away. And it also does another thing, which is really cool, which is like it adds a ticking clock, right? Because it's like we see them fading more and more, and then he starts to fade, and we're like, oh, he has to do it by the time he's done. So these are sort of some examples of how you can like use visual storytelling to accomplish different things. And so when you face those kinds of problems, don't despair, don't freak out. It is sort of fundamental to the craft of screenwriting. Every screenwriter, every time they start to write a scene, is going to be like faced with how do you visually solve an abstract idea. And you just work on it. It just takes time. Yeah. Simon was saying, I feel usually any over exposition dialogue always works better when you switch it to visual storytelling. If you can make it clear, it moves quicker. Yeah, exposition, it avoids clunky dialogue. It can be great. K-drama with Black Pearl. I'm writing my first short film for admission. Any tips? One thing I will say, I did make a video on this YouTube channel in the Arc Studio Screenwriting about writing short films. So check out that video for a longer explanation about this. But a couple quick tips I'll say, and then we are going to jump into our first writing sprint. Sorry, it's already 20 minutes in. But just having a good discussion. So apologies if you're like, I want to write. By the way, you always can just start writing and like mute me if you're ready to go. One thing I will say about a short film is that typically you want to make it event driven, right? So it's about a specific moment in time and what is kind of leading up to that and what the results are kind of that thing. But if you kind of focus it on sort of like one kind of thing, one moment, one experience, one clash, when there's so many different things you can do it, but like you really want to try to focus it on that thing instead of kind of trying to tell an entire bigger character story. You don't really have the time for that. It's kind of like a short story, right? Like where it's just about this one thing. It's not about an entire world. So trying to focus it down into like what that one thing is can be very there's like one thing that maybe they're trying to accomplish, and you just focusing down on that. All right. This is awesome. We're going to get into the first writing sprint. So if you're new, basically, like Simon, happen is I'm going to put a timer up on the screen, play some vibey chill music, I'm going to mute myself and shrink off to the side. And during that time, we're just going to go into it. The first sprint is a 15-minute sprint. It's just kind of a warm-up sprint. So I always like to slow down my voice like this because the music's chill. It's a warm-up sprint. Oftentimes, maybe you're free writing in the warm-up sprint. Maybe you're reading back over kind of what you were working on last time, just getting your head back in the zone. Or if you're ready, you can just dive in. But this isn't about like page count or word count or like anything like that. It's really just trying to like take advantage of this time and focus it and dedicate it on what you're trying to do. So I'm going to start playing some music. I am going to put 15 minutes up on the clock. Screenwriting questions, see how that sprint went for you guys. And then we're going to keep rolling and do another sprint after that. So 15 minutes on the clock. Let's do some writing. Welcome to Let's Write Scripts. If you joined during that writing sprint, I am Mike Grady, the head of writing at Arc Studio, as it says right below me there. You can't put it there if it's not true. I want to welcome you joined. This is Let's Write Scripts. We are doing 3 writing sprints. That was the first one. If you were doing that writing sprint, I want to know, how did it go? Are the muses with us today? Are the ideas flowing down? Are you typing like a maniac? Are you feeling good about your story? Are you unraveling the knots of your narrative? Are your characters gaining new depths? Is your dialogue sparkling? Get in the chat and let me know. Or not. Is it the opposite of all those things? Is your narrative nodding itself? Is the dialogue rusty? Is your brain rusty? And if so, are there anything specific that you're struggling with? Because this is the time where I love to answer questions. So let me know if you have any screenwriting questions, any craft questions. It could be about your story, about your character, about the arc, about your scenes, about the dialogue, the description, really like anything like that. Please get in the chat. Any craft questions, let me know. Because remember, like, these it's not just a benefit for you. Everyone kind of gets to learn together. That's one of the beauties of a group session. So let me know. For me, this is an interesting, I'm working on a pitch, and oftentimes with the pitch, what you'll do is include a kind of a personal anecdote or like your connection to this story. It doesn't have to necessarily be literal or like a one-to-one kind of a thing, but it's just sort of like, what is like your connection? Why is the story important to you? What's your kind of emotional way into it? And you kind of do it at the start of a pitch, and you sort of sets the tone a little bit, and like, it gets people invested. And so I've been working on this new thing, and I'd kind of figured out the premise and like things that had happened and some of the character stuff, but I only recently like really figured out like the emotional kind of core of the story, like what it's about really. And so now that I figured that, I'm trying to figure out like, all right, what's my way into this pitch? So I'm kind of like going through my memories of like things, because this is like it's about a teenager or a adolescent, and so I'm like thinking about my childhood. Anyway, so I'm kind of like brainstorming about my stuff, and I haven't quite landed on exactly what my thing is yet, but I'm getting into it. So I'm getting into it, but it's a little slow today. So that's what I'm working about here. Zoe's the muses are firing for her today. Cash is doing all right, especially for a first sprint. Important caveat: it is the warm-up sprint. I said that. You can hold me to it. JP loves the focused writing time. Gives me opportunity to hone in on the finer details. Fantastic. Kelly's warming up. High hopes for the next sprint. I'm with you, Kelly. Christian, as time and Let's Write Scripts progress, I'm getting a better handle on subtext or draft. Oh, that's awesome. So glad to hear. Chris, happy to be writing again. Oh, amen, buddy. Somewhat rusty though on the dialogue, but I just put together a montage that shows and not tells. Social media photos of one of the characters revealing her history. Cool, man. Awesome. John is deleting like a maniac. Hey, there is addition by subtraction sometimes. That's great. Juno sprint started okay, but then I got distracted to put some ingredients together to start a soup. What kind of soup? You can't just like tease that and not let me know about the soup. I'm a big soup fan, by the way. I love sandwiches because I make them a lot, but soups, I love eating soups. We have soup night like every Monday night at my household. We eat soups. So like we have oftentimes it's this recently been this spicy 3-bean soup that we get from the farmer's market. It's great. Anyway, sorry to get distracted, but Juno, let me know what the soup is, because I'm always looking for soup. Awesome. All right. And please, if anybody does have any questions, again, get into the chat and let me know. It could be, again, about any sort of aspect of the screenwriting craft. Love to discuss all of those things. And soups too. If you have any thoughts about soups or questions on soups, I also love to talk about soup. We can get into the fine nuances of what is a soup and what isn't a soup. Lots of things we can talk about. An announcement: we are doing this again next week. So Let's Write Script is pretty much almost every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific, live on the Arc Studio Screenwriting channel. And of course, it like lives thereafter. So if you missed one, you can go back and watch it. Sometimes people will say like, oh yeah, I'll go and sort of do my own because I like watch it the next day, or anything or something like that. Or you can like do a rewatch, or just like scrub forward just to like the writing sprint times to get the vibey music. Oh, that reminded me. you guys know Spotify Wrapped, right? So the streaming service Spotify at the end of the year, it like tells you what your like what you listen to, like your top songs, your top artists, your top albums you listen to, all that sort of stuff. And mine is always very weird, and I feel like maybe some of you guys might feel this as well, because like I listen to music while I write, so my top artists and everything is always skewed by just like writing music, which isn't necessarily the same music I'd be listening to in other aspects of my life. So it's always just like, I wish I could check a box or something on Spotify that's like, don't count this. This is just writing music. This isn't real. But then I was also thinking that the actual, like my actual real most listened to song for the past year, for past 2025, is probably the song in the 25-minute writing sprint. In the second writing sprint, I have that song I play, and I'm like, I listen to that song 25 minutes a week, every week. So that's like, I'm probably done like 40, 45 of these this year. So it's like 45 times 25, which is 1,125 minutes of just like that one song. So it may be even similar for all of you, or many of you guys who come very frequently, that your actual top song is not whatever Spotify said it is. It's the random song that we use, which is called Relaxing Music for Reflection and Creativity 16102. That's, I just want to let you know, that's your actual real top song of this year. Juno, I was so excited for this soup, and then you mentioned the one thing I don't like, which is mushrooms. So my enthusiasm just dropped like a rock when you mentioned it's a mushroom soup. I'm a little better on mushrooms than I used to. I like eat them in more food, but I'm just not a huge mushrooms fan. Yeah. Oh, so your listening was 82. My listening age on Spotify was 85. And it's because I listen to Miles Davis a lot, especially Ascenseur pour la Échafaud, Stairway to the Gallows. The soundtrack he did to that classic French noir movie. And I listen to that all the time when I'm writing, which is from the 50s. So my streaming age was 85, which I thought was a little aggressive. Brian, hey man, welcome from Jacksonville here. There we go. Tess got 87. Yeah, there you go. And you're 25. At least, yeah, that's even worse for you relatively. That's much worse because I'm almost 40 here. Got to use separate apps for different music. That's good advice here. That's great. Yours was 21. Is that, what are you listening to? Just like pop stuff? Like, I can't even imagine having 21. I don't even know like what 21s are other than like K-pop Demon Hunters or something. Like even Taylor Swift is older than that. So I don't even know. That's just, I've been aging. Try's been listening to a lot of vinyl, so Spotify would probably call you old. Yeah, it can't even be quantified. We've been listening more vinyl. It's also in Christmas season. We tend to listen to more vinyl. I love the Bing Crosby Christmas album, the White Christmas album. We were at a yard sale and bought the Chipmunks Christmas album, which is very funny because it's like the high-pitched chipmunks singing. But there's this one song where they do The Night Before Christmas, but they do it sort of like beating it, where it's like the night before Christmas and all through the house. And it's like kind of weirdly cool. And like when it came out, must have just like blown people's minds that it was like this kind of like hippie beatnik kind of almost rap on the Chipmunks album here. That's awesome. Kelly uses the middle one all week long. There you go. Yeah, the 25-minute sprint. It's probably the best one. That's great. Denise, another fan, Miles Davis, love it. Zoe, listening to music and writing is top tier, though. It is interesting. I feel like I listen to music in 90 to 95% of my writing sessions, but like 5 to 10% of the time, I'm locked in and I want complete silence. And it's always so weird when that happens to me. Like it's a surprise because I listen to music so much, but sometimes I'm just like, I need nothing else. I just need to write this. So it's kind of always fascinating about here. I think you would get age 0 if you just listened to stuff from this year. We could just, yeah. I mean, what if you like listen to like tracks that haven't like even been released, just like demos or something? All right, we're gonna hop into the next next writing sprint, because not a lot of screenwriting questions today. Everyone's doing well, which is great. But I feel like this is the first time after the first writing sprint there hasn't been a single like writing question from you guys. So I'm all right, which I'll take as good. Everyone's writing's going well right now. I mean, technically, this was before. I could have waited and answered this during the writing sprint, but I did it before. So I did answer some questions beforehand. So that's all right. All right. Let's keep rolling then. Like, let's keep rolling. That's right. I've been talking about the music during the second writing sprint. So why don't we listen to that music and do some more writing? Again, this is the aforementioned relaxing music for reflection and creativity 16102, the finest and royalty-free music that I can play that's not going to like be a copyright violation. So here it is. We're going to do 25 minutes. '25 right here. Everyone's real number one song of 2025 is this one right here. I'm gonna put the timer back up. 25 minutes. I always call this one the Goldilocks writing sprint because you're warmed up but you're not tired yet. And just feel good. Just yeah, let's just do it. Let's jump in. We're here. Let's take advantage of this time together. 25 minutes on the clock. I'll catch you guys on the other side. All right, and that is the end of the second Write Sprint here on Let's Write Scripts, brought to you by Arc Studio Screenwriting Software, the best screenwriting software in the world, I think. Yeah, you can use it if you're not using it. To start writing your scripts for free, there's a link in the description. You can go to arcstudiopro.com. It's a really great screenwriting software, and I'm not just saying that because I work for them, but I do work for them. So I do have some bias, I will admit. I want to know, how did that write sprint go? Also, if anyone joined during that writing sprint, so glad that you're here. This is Let's Write Scripts. We're doing 3 writing sprints. We've done 2 so far. We're gonna take a little break now. I want to hear how that sprint went. If the first one was a little tough, did things turn around and get better in the second one? Did it go the other way? Did things take a dive? Did you go downhill in the second writing sprint? And again, if there's anything specific that you're struggling with in your writing, or any questions you have about the craft of screenwriting, about your story, about your characters, about the act structure, about the scenes, really any aspect of the craft of screenwriting, feel free to get into the chat and let me know, and I will do my best to answer that. I think I interrupted myself earlier, but we do have Let's Write Scripts next week, but then we're off for 2 weeks. So next week is the 17th, and we're doing it. But then the 24th and the 31st, which is Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, will be off. I'll be on vacation. But then we'll be back on, I think it's January 7th. Yeah, so in the new year, we'll be starting strong, working on our scripts. Couple things, just Chris was at Wandering Aquarian Girl. What's your web series? And Quan, where can Chris find out more about your production company? Speaking of Arc Studio, Pam had a question here. Loving Arc Studio software. Awesome. The beats, the outline, the script, but still very new to it. Watch your video. What is a branch copy and what is the purpose? Oh, cool. Yeah, I can just briefly just kind of describe what this is. So here is Arc Studio. This is a sample script here. Called Rex Wolf Dog Detective. It's about a scruffy dog who's a rescue, who's also like a hard-boiled noir private detective. And so basically what happens is I have the main draft and an alternate branch. So the main draft, this is just your script, right? It's your normal script. The thing about a branch copy is that it basically is you make a copy of your script that's identical, but you can make changes to the branch copy that don't affect the main one. So if I'm here in the main draft, I can change it here, and then the alternate branch, that doesn't happen, right? So the idea actually is you make the change. Sorry, I did that backwards. You would make the change in the alternate branch. I can make changes here. And it's kind of a place to experiment. You can try things without it affecting your main draft. And then when you're ready, you can then merge these together basically, and like choose, like add something here, delete this one of these woofs here, right? And then you go into the merge. And then in the merge view, what you can do is basically kind of accept and reject the changes that you make. So you can be like, I'm going to discard that one. I don't want that, but I'm going to accept this change, and I'm going to accept this change. And then I merge it. And then basically the branch copy goes away, and the changes I accept, like this one and this one, came into your draft. So it's basically a concept that comes from computer programming, where you can make a copy identical, make some changes to the copy, and then merge those changes in. You can't make like a branch copy of a branch copy of a branch copy. Everything comes back to the main. It's just kind of a space to try that. Some people never use it. Some people love it. I personally don't really use it that much. But some people really love to be able to experiment, and then, in kind of an enclosed sandbox. And then there's also some other uses if you're collaborating with people. Like if you have a bunch of people in one document and you create a branch copy, that can be a private space for you to work, where your collaborators can't see it until you share it with them. Yeah, so that is the branch copy. All right, let's see here. Brian found it to be a fairly rewarding sprint. Cool. Kelly says, great. Chris, it was good. Just wrote a whole block of dialogue that revealed characters' philosophies. Cool. Ooh, Quan, I have a few screenwriter questions. Can you clarify what makes a scene continuous and going back and forth between two scenes, a flashback and present day? Great question. A scene is continuous if it's like a continuous action moving from one scene to the other. So if your character is in their house and they walk outside and the scene continues, that's continuous. You'd be interior house, blah, blah, blah. And then you'd be exterior house, continuous. So continuous is literally if it's a continuity in time and space as you walk between it. If you're going between a flashback and present day, that would not be a continuous. For that, I would basically use something like in the slug. Well, there's a couple of different ways you could do it. In the slug, in the scene heading, you could say, you have like present or past in the scene heading at the end. And then you can also use the transitions. You can say like cut back to present or like that. Basically, you just want it to be clear what's happening there. Sprint was great. I was able to enhance a couple of scenes, more visuals, fantastic. Cash had a setback, but got fixed. Great. Also, a question about how to format a text. Like, I want to include a timestamp as I'm moving between scenes. I also want to show the text of a text message on screen. So the best for these specific examples, honestly, is just find scripts that do it, but there isn't like a set thing. So especially with text messages, because weirdly, like in the history of screenwriting, texts are still relatively modern. There isn't like a standardized way to do it. Like I've seen some people who use the dialogue actually as texts. So it'll have like the character name and then text in in parentheses, and then the text is in the character, is in the dialogue space. Or people will use the action and they'll like put it in italics. There's like different ways to do it. Find examples, work but like clarity is key. And then you also want to differentiate some, between like how are we seeing it? Like, are we seeing it on their phone, or is it like Sherlock, I think, was the one who started doing it, where like literally the text being written out on screen, which is now a lot of kind of shows or movies will do that. So there are different ways to do it, but like finding examples in scripts for formatting questions, honestly, that's how most people learn formatting, is like you like find an example of the script and then like kind of copy or modify based on what your needs. Denise, loving Arc Studio, fantastic, so glad. Ciaran, finished revision, spent the final script on another project, cool. Oh, love for Arc Studio, glad our paid just kidding, paid advertisements there. Yeah. Oh, for the continuous. Okay. So like if they're moving from room to the house, like living room, bedroom, bathroom, it can be anywhere. It's literally just anytime anyone, the camera is basically following them in a continuous motion from one spot to another spot. Like for instance, if you were, let's say someone was in their apartment, right? And they're getting ready and they're going out to like work or something. If they're walking from their apartment into the hallway, that's continuous. If they're walking from the hallway into the staircase and down, that's just continuous. If they're watching out of the staircase into the lobby, that's continuous. If they're walking out of the lobby into the street, that's continuous. If they're in their apartment and they open the door and walk out, and then we see them walk out onto the street and nothing in between, that's moments later or soon after or something like that, but not a continuous. Continuous is literally like, we're going in there another. Juna had a great sprint. Her mushroom soup is smelling good, even though it's mushrooms, but that's cool. Mushrooms could be good too. Cutting it down a ton of voiceover and trying to replace it with visual storytelling. Fantastic. All right, great. And now before we get into the final writing sprint, I'm going to show the sandwich of the week. If you're new here and you're wondering what this is, basically every week I just show a photo of the best looking and often best tasting sandwich that I made this week. And so here we go without further ado. This is the sandwich of the week. I made this one on Sunday, and I thought this one was just very beautiful, especially with the dramatic lighting. New bread alert, which is exciting. This is an egg bread with poppy, sesame, and onion. It's kind of a roll more, but it's an eggy bread. And it was very, very tasty. And we have turkey and turkey bacon on this. We have some greens. We have cheddar. We have, I think, pickled onions, mayo, stone ground mustard. And this was a very tasty sandwich. It was a work of art. So of course I had to sign it, like you do with all great works of art. And Yeah, first time that I'd ever tried this bread. But I saw it and it looks tasty and it also looked photogenic, which is very important for the sandwich of the week. Sometimes there are things that are delicious, but they don't photograph well. But I'm like, oh, this is going to photograph very well. And then as I made it, like I just like looked over to my counter and saw this dramatic light, and I was like, oh yeah, this is going to work. So there we go. Kelly's loving it. Yes. New bread alert. Exactly. I was like, maybe I need to get like a sound effect and like a little siren to go off there. It is gorgeous. The movie star said, this is the dramatic lighting. Yeah. This is like a classic movie star, of the past there. It's an egg bread with poppy, sesame, and onion. Yeah. So it's like pretty great. Love the toppings on the bread. You know me, sourdough breaker. Love seeing the bread choices. We're pro bread. There's a lot of carbs, on Let's Write Scripts, to be honest. But yeah, there we go. That is the sandwich of the week. I'll have another one next week and every week. Although I am switching it up more now. I'm gonna do other things, like I did the pie of the week. If I make other things, because like I'm doing sandwich of the week now for like over a year, and it's just like there's only so many sandwiches that I can show and make it new. But as long as I guess as I'm finding new breads, then that's keeping it fresh. All right, cool. We are gonna do, man, we're almost already out of time, so we're just gonna end with a 15-minute writing sprint here. But if you have to leave, no worries. I love a farewell. Seeing the farewell in the chat and seeing how it went. Again, we are doing Let's Write Scripts next week on the 17th. You can RSVP at the link in the description, or just show up to the Arc Studio Screenwriting channel at 1 p.m. Pacific on Wednesday. But then we're off for 2 weeks. We're off on the 24th and the 31st, which is Christmas Eve and New Year's. I'll be on vacation, and then back on the 7th. But just to reiterate, next week, the 17th, we are doing Let's Write Scripts. Yeah, I think that's it. All right, so let's do a final sprint, 15 minutes. Again, if you have to leave, no worries. Say farewell in the chat. Let me know how it went. We're going to do it. We're just going to get into the writing here. It's been a good one. Let's try to finish strong here with this last little 15-minute sprint for those of you piano go. I've also been like learning piano. Just slight story alert. Every year I bought like an adult piano book. And every year I spend like a couple weeks learning how to play basic piano, and I do that for like a month, and then I stop and I probably forget everything. And then like a year passes, and then I'm like, I look at the piano and I'm like, oh, this looks fun. I want to learn how to play piano again. So I'm in that. I'm like playing like Camp Town Races and like very simple songs. So this piano made me think of that. I'm not playing this song, not good enough. But I'm gonna stop talking now, and we're gonna write. 15 minutes on the clock. Get you on the other side. Okay. Apologies for that. That's it. That brings us to the end of Let's Write Scripts for Wednesday, December 10th. But don't fear, don't fret, don't be concerned, because we'll be next week. We'll be back next week on Wednesday, December 17th at 1 p.m. Pacific on the Arc Studio Screenwriting channel at Arc Studio Screenwriting. Until then, please keep writing. Let this just be the seed from which the rest of your writing practice grows, and not the entire plant of your writing practice. The metaphor works. Thank you all so much for joining. It's had such a great time. I love the energy, love the questions, love the discussion. I hope you got some writing done, learned a few things, maybe had a good time. Your creativity is important. Your writing is important. So setting a time for yourself, setting aside this time for yourself to do that is meaningful. Until next week, be kind to yourselves and happy writing, everybody. See you soon.